Hello, welcome and thank you for joining us today for the next webinar in our What's New series. In today's webinar, we'll cover some of the newest features that are available in Microsoft 365 and that you can implement in your business, as well as covering some brand new features that give us a bit of an insight into the future of where Microsoft is headed for the rest of this year. Don't feel like you need to make notes or take it all in straight away, as we'll be sending out a recording of the webinar and a follow-up fact sheet later today. Also, if you have any questions, please do feel free to drop those into the Q&A box at the side at any time. I'll do my best to keep an eye on that Q&A box as we go along, as things are relevant, but there'll also be some dedicated time at the end for anything that you think of as we go along. So let's take a look at the agenda for today. We'll be starting off just by doing a quick introduction to Bedrock and our 8 rocks process. Then we'll be looking at collaborative stage view for sharing content alongside a Teams chat conversation. New Teams meetings, breakout rooms, shuffle option. Then we'll be looking at updates to Outlook, including working hours and location information. Next, we'll be looking at stepping into an avatar world with Microsoft Mesh. And then we'll be looking at Microsoft Teams chat and channel search. And finally, we'll be looking at the latest updates to Microsoft CoPilot in SharePoint. And last of all, we'll be just letting you know what's next in terms of this series and next steps you can take within your organisation. So a quick introduction to Bedrock for those of you who might not have met us before. My name is Jennifer Benge and I am the marketing manager at Bedrock. Bedrock is an IT managed service provider and Microsoft partner. This means that most of the IT we implement is based on the Microsoft stack. This includes Microsoft 365, Teams, Azure, etc. We're also experts in secure, resilient networks and managed IT solutions where high performance is critical. This means that we work with organisations that have some of the highest security requirements in the UK. The most important thing we want to achieve, no matter what your organisation does, is to make sure that your IT strategy is supporting your business as a whole. We do this with the help of our 8 strategic rocks. These are, as you can see them on the screen there, data, skills, investment, backup, strategy, security, quality of service, and finally collaboration. The collaboration rock is the focus of this series of webinars, as at their heart, Microsoft 365 and the Microsoft suite of tools are collaboration tools. We find that many of the businesses we come across and that we talk to have these tools already in their organisations, but they're not necessarily using them to their full capacity. So that's what this webinar series was designed for, to make sure that you're getting the best value out of that investment that you're already making in those Microsoft tools. So let's get started. Let's talk about the 8 rocks workshop that we have. So this stakeholder workshop is designed to get a consensus on your business priorities. It can be conducted face-to-face or virtually, and it gets leaders and investors aligned on the best way to solve their IT issues, and as a stepping stone from that, their strategic business issues too. It also helps you to decide on addressing your cost savings and investment decisions. There's no cost implications to taking the workshop other than a mutual investment of time. And the outcome that you'll get from this workshop is just that you'll be able to agree your immediate priorities, find your immediate cost savings, and agree a scope for a more detailed analysis in the future. So if that's of interest to you, please do feel free to contact us after the webinar. Let's kick off with some of the new stuff that we've got to look at today. Right, so first up, we have collaborative meeting notes. So this was actually a couple of months ago we first talked about collaborative meeting notes, which are coming soon to Microsoft Teams. This will allow you to write notes before meetings, allowing you to prepare by adding agendas or other materials. After the meeting notes will remain accessible for all participants on the Teams calendar meeting details page. This experience is a loop component, so they can be easily copied out of the meeting and into chats. This can be moved into group chats or Teams channels or even emails in another file location as well. So that we already talked through that a couple of months ago. If you wanted to catch up on that in more detail, you can in our recordings. But I wanted to quickly note that because the next step on building on these collaborative tools is that Microsoft are now launching a collaborative stage view. So this is a new type of Teams window that allows you to engage with content and conversation side by side. With collaborative stage view, app content opens in a new Teams window where users can engage with the content and chat with other team members side by side. You'll be able to share links and collaborate on app content without leaving Teams. So this is coming soon, and we don't have information yet on which apps will be available within this collaborative stage view. All we've been told is that there will be a select few built to support the new functionality. Users will be able to click on the eligible adaptive cards to open and engage with app content in a large team window. So instead of trying to put screenshots or opening a separate window outside of Teams to discuss something, everyone can collaborate on one specific piece of content within an app without leaving that Teams window. There's also a side panel that lets meeting participants continue conversations with their colleagues in relation to that content that's being discussed. So you can keep everything in one area much more simply, and it's just a good way to keep everyone understanding what you're looking at, what you're analysing, and then discuss in the same place. This is due to arrive by late June. So someone's asking, does this include OneNote in this collaborative stage view? It probably will do. I would imagine that would be the very first one that they are able to do, but it is worth noting as well that OneNote is already available within the Teams window itself. So that's something I've not included as a specific update in this month's webinar, but I do know it's becoming more of a focus in terms of building OneNote into the Teams experience. So from now on, every kind of team chat or channel that you open will automatically have a OneNote tab in it, so that you can all collaborate in that same OneNote automatically, and it's all just there for you. Because up until now, you know, we've had the opportunity to add a OneNote tab at the top of a chat, but it's not there automatically, so it's a bit of a faff to add it manually. But I do know that that is also coming. So it's all about Microsoft. We know this. Many of our updates are about this, that they just want to keep us in that Teams reading panel as much as they can. They don't want us to move outside of Teams. Everything, ideally, they want us to do within Teams without having to open loads of other programs. Okay, so that is the collaborative stage view. Next up, we have the breakout rooms shuffle. So I know a lot of people who attend these webinars use the breakout rooms because it's something we've chatted about a fair amount in the past. So I like to make sure that you're all kept up to date with any new functionality that you can use as part of your breakout rooms management. So a quick recap on breakout rooms themselves, just for those of you who maybe don't use them so much at the moment. You can assign people to breakout rooms either automatically, which is pretty much random, or manually, either before or during a meeting. Up until now, you've been unable to automatically reassign participants into a different room. To assign people, you must be a meeting organizer or presenter who's been appointed as a breakout rooms manager, and you must be in the meeting itself as well. So the update that we have got this month is that you'll be able to use a breakout rooms participant shuffle to allow participants to be randomly reassigned before and during a meeting. So shuffling can be applied to all participants or only to unassigned participants, redistributing them evenly to existing rooms. So this is potentially handy if you've got people who are turning up late to a meeting when breakout rooms have already been assigned. You can therefore just quickly select those people who aren't yet assigned a breakout room, and you can get them to shuffle into all the existing rooms without you having to do it completely manually of picking which person goes into which room. You can also use it to completely reshuffle everyone who's in that meeting already. So perhaps if you've had quite a few people turn up late and you just want to reassign the groups completely, you can do that just by having a whole meeting reshuffle, and that will automatically reassign everyone then to a new room. Something that you might want to consider as well while you're doing this is that you can rename your breakout rooms. So if you wanted to have a whole company workshop or something where you are trying to decide on different things in different groups, you can name each breakout room depending on what activity you want that group to be doing, and then shuffle people into those groups and get them concentrating on that task that you want them to do. So breakout rooms Shuffle means that meeting organisers, co-organisers and breakout room managers will be able to shuffle all participants or just shuffle unassigned participants who perhaps turn up late or you didn't know were going to be joining that meeting, and you can shuffle those people into a breakout room that already exists. This is due mid to late June, so start to look out for it in the middle of this month, and we'll hopefully see it in action by the end of June. Next up on our agenda, we have updates to Outlook. So with this update, you will soon be able to set up your work hours and location in Outlook on the web. This will specify whether you're working remotely or working in the office. Once you've set this up on Outlook Online, your location will also be shown in your Microsoft Teams profile card. So your work hours and work location settings will impact how your suggested times work when creating a meeting event in Outlook on the web. So I don't know if you've noticed already, but when you're setting up a meeting, it will suggest you set up at a time when all your participants are available and also in their normal working hours. So by setting this up, you'll be able to organise your suggested working hours, and then people will know when they can book you into a meeting, depending on when you're likely to be available when it's your normal working hours. Colleagues will be able to see whether you're working in the office or remotely, and when they're using the scheduling assistant in Outlook on the web, or they'll be able to see that in your Teams profile card as well. So perhaps if you're trying to set up a meeting that definitely has to be in a face-to-face capacity when everyone's in the office, you'll be able to see that on people's profile cards, whether they're likely to be in the office on that day. If you don't set this up, nothing's going to change. So it's not as if because you haven't set up this new feature, it's going to say that you're not working. It's just a bit of an added bonus if you are one of these people who works very flexibly, who needs people to know when you're going to be in the office or working remotely. It's just an added layer of information that you can share with people to make it a bit easier for them to schedule your diary. Teammates can view others' work locations when they're using the scheduling assistant in Outlook, and yeah, it just helps you be able to organise who you need where for what kind of meeting. This is due in May to early June, so some of you might be seeing it now, some of you may be waiting a little bit longer for it to appear, but it is due any day now. Okay, Microsoft Mesh. So we first talked about Microsoft Mesh last summer when it was announced at Microsoft Inspire. And today's update is that it is now starting to become publicly available. So I don't know if any of you saw this week, but on the screenshot on the right there, that's a pop-up that happened in my Teams this week as I was joining a meeting. Not great timing to be asked to create an avatar as you're joining a meeting, but this did pop up for me this week. We did also talk about appearing as an avatar in meetings a couple of webinars ago, and it did receive some mixed responses from you. Some people can't wait to see it in action and will definitely be jumping on it. I imagine you've already made your avatars. And then some people are just, it's not for them, we'll say that. Either way, the news is that avatars for Microsoft Teams is rolling out to general availability in phases starting around now. So it will be available to Microsoft 365 Enterprise, Microsoft, that's for E3 and E5 versions, and Business Standard and Microsoft 365 Business Premium. So this, and then the next stage of Microsoft Mesh is also immersive spaces, which is in private preview at the moment and coming later on. So the screenshots you can see here, so on the right, obviously that's the one that popped up for me this week saying create your avatar. And then I just did a quick screenshot of some of the things that you can see when you're creating your avatar. You can decide how grumpy your avatar is with your avatar mood. So if you are a grumpier person, perhaps you would want a grumpy avatar. But yeah, like I say, I haven't had a huge amount of time to do this myself. It's not something that I think we'll be prioritizing, but potentially there is some use for it, which we'll look at now. So Avatars for Teams offers an alternative to the current option of either having your video on or just completely off in Teams meetings. Customizable avatars and reactions give you a bit of a camera break whilst showing colleagues that you're still present. So you're perhaps slightly more engaged if you're there as an avatar, as opposed to just not being there at all, just with your little profile symbol. And it potentially could include more people in a conversation. So immersive spaces will then take this one step further by allowing you to build a whole virtual environment for your avatars to appear in. Yeah, and I would just be interested to find out if anyone has actually made their avatar yet. So yeah, please do feel free to let me know if you have designed your avatar, or if you're already perhaps attending your meetings as an avatar. I'd be really interested to know. So we've got a couple of people asking about licensing around this. So some people are saying they have tried to use it, but it's advising they do need another license. Okay, I'll take a look into that for you, because as far as we've been told, the licenses that you're saying you have, it should be available, but that could be part of the phased rollout potentially. Maybe they're starting with the sort of the more expensive licenses. I'm not sure, but we will. Sorry, just scroll through all my slides there. I will have a check for you and get back to you on those licensing questions. There's quite a few things coming in. So someone's already had a look. Great, good to hear it. And someone else, oh, I so want to, but couldn't. Hopefully couldn't yet. So hopefully you will have that option later on as it all completely finishes rolling out. But yeah, we'll keep an eye on it. It will be interesting to see if this does get picked up, and if people do start using it in their day-to-day meetings rather than just as a kind of, let's try it and see what it looks like. Okay, coming back down to something a bit more, let's say, boring compared to Microsoft Mesh. There is a new feature which makes searching in Microsoft Teams chat and channel hopefully slightly easier for you. So within a Teams chat, you will now be able to just simply press Control F if you're in Windows, or Command F if you're on Mac. And this will open the search experience on the right handrail, meaning that you can search all your search results and you still be able to view your channel or chat as it was on the left-hand side. This is a screenshot that I found somewhere else at the moment, because this hasn't rolled out to our tenant yet, but we'll be keeping an eye on that for you. So as far as I can tell, this will make things a lot easier, because up until now, when you've done a search in a Microsoft Teams chat or channel, you've had to search in the top bar, which then once your search is executed will take you to a kind of totally different view compared to what you were looking at first, which is quite difficult then to get back to where you were or to find exactly what it was you wanted to look at. So hopefully this will make that search experience slightly easier, in that the search panel will just pop up on the right hand side, and you will then be able to search through all the suggested options within the left hand panel. The same keyboard shortcuts will work when you're doing a search in a channel, and you can also use the new Find in Channel button, which is in the little red box there on the bottom right. So that's just in the normal channel info pane that you can pop up and do a search in that channel in the same way. Another good action that I think Microsoft have taken with this is that they have now also added a new results highlight keyword option. So when you're doing a search at the moment, sometimes it will pop up with some completely random answers, it seems, that don't make it easy to realise why they've been popped up in your search. But this time they are adding the functionality that when you've done a search, the new experience will show a caption of the results and highlight the keyword that you've searched for. So it will show you where in that message your search term has appeared, and that will make it much easier for you to quickly visually sort through which one might be the one that you're looking for in your chat or channel. So very just small updates, but I think will hopefully make things much easier if you're trying to do that search in a chat or channel. And these updates are due from mid-June onwards, so look out for those coming into play this month. Okay, Microsoft 365 CoPilot. If you haven't seen April's webinar where we talked about the shiny new Microsoft CoPilot, I would really recommend that you go back and catch up on those recordings, or on our website or our YouTube channel, just because I have a feeling that we're going to be talking about CoPilot an awful lot this year. So this is a very quick overview, just in case you did miss it. Microsoft CoPilot is in the very early testing stage at the moment, but we're going to see some of these new features gradually coming to life soon. Microsoft 365 Copilot will be integrated into the apps you already use every day. And the idea is that you can give it all the boring, more admin type tasks that you don't want to do, take them off of your plate, and it will give you more of the time to do the work that you do want to do and that robots currently can't do. They're catching up rapidly, but at the moment there are still some things they can't do. So here you can see with these little screenshots how Copilot will work across Word, Excel and PowerPoint. You'll just be able to give it sort of prompts, brief questions that you want it to answer, and it will be able to do that for you across those apps that you're already using. There is a gradual rollout of these Copilot features, which is starting around now, and I think will continue throughout the rest of the year, if not beyond. This month's Copilot update is the launch of Copilot in SharePoint. So Copilot in SharePoint allows you to turn your words into SharePoint sites and pages. If you can describe the site or page, Copilot in SharePoint will begin to create it for you. And then it will work with you to refine and edit what it's made. These new capabilities will enable you to spend less time setting up SharePoint sites, and they'll give you the confidence that the site that you've created is using all of the features that are available to you. So rather than just sticking to the same options that you kind of are very comfortable with, it will perhaps widen your horizons slightly and give you all of the other options that are out there that you're not already using. You can create sites with Copilot from a new SharePoint start page. Sorry, it's a bit of a tongue twister, that one. And with only a brief prompt, Copilot in SharePoint will create a page that gives you information from across your organization, and it will automatically align to your organization's brand as well. So in this example that you can see on the screen here, Copilot has built the page just with a simple prompt asking it to build an employee onboarding site featuring the company logo and including a personal statement from the company president. I think it's funny that the example that Microsoft chose includes a personal statement from a human that a robot has written. So Copilot also helps page authors turn their existing content into a SharePoint page. So you'll be able to give it a Word document, a PowerPoint presentation, or any other kind of document that you've prepared some work in, and it will be able to automatically create a web page from that content. Copilot will take your existing document or presentation and leverage it into a page that uses all the web design details and features that are available in SharePoint, and there's more of those coming in this update as well. And it will also help you rewrite key passages of text on the page too, helping you to strike the right tone and drive engagement with your readers on that page. So here's an example of it creating page content using an AI-powered author feature. So this will create a first draft for you, bringing in information from across your organization as needed. Copilot can add content to existing pages, summarize text, and rewrite sections of the entire document to make it more concise. You can even get suggested tones of voice to help you with the finished product that you're after. With the new integration of SharePoint pages into email, you can also preview and send full news posts as emails to your readers' inboxes. So when it launches, there will be 6 templates designed to make that all look good across both SharePoint and Outlook. And then you'll be able to use those templates to add in your news and send those out. Also, it comes with unified page analytics. So you'll be able to see all the people that have read it, the total read numbers across Outlook and SharePoint, so that you'll know which news stories have resonated most with your readers. So I'd say this is going to be a useful feature, not only for sharing externally to your organization, but also internally. You can share all the latest updates and keep your whole team motivated and up to date with all the latest news within your organization. So release dates and timelines for the launch of Microsoft CoPilot have been a bit vague so far, but we do have a timeline for CoPilot in SharePoint. And this also might give us a slightly better idea of when the full launch of CoPilot tools will be available. So it's looking like if you look at that right-hand column, that's where most of the CoPilot stuff is happening. I would say that we're probably looking for the full launch of all of those other CoPilot tools towards the end of the year as well. So there's going to be a lot of hyping up, I think, in the meantime from Microsoft, that they'll be really proudly announcing all of these new features that are coming. And we'll just have to really keep our eye on when those release dates are actually available, so you can actually start building those into your organization, because we don't want you to miss anything when they are available. So we'll definitely keep you up to date with those. Right, that was all the new features that we had to talk about for this month. So I just wanted to quickly let you know about what's next with our What's New webinar series. So the next one will be in July. Please do feel free to sign up for that. Cara has dropped a link into the announcements for you, so you can sign up straight away if you are able to attend on the 13th of July. Also, if you're not, perhaps you're off on your summer holidays, please do feel free to sign up anyway, and we will send you the recording after that webinar as well. Okay, right, let's have a look at some Q&A. I think we've got a few left in here. There's an awful lot of chat about Microsoft Mesh. It's divisive, but I think there's it seems like the people who like it are really taking to the comment section today. So someone's saying they haven't used it personally, but their colleagues already have. There's other people saying that they are still really trying to use it, but unable to at the moment with their licensing. As I said, I will look into that for you with the licensing, just to confirm who should be able to access it now and who perhaps is going to have to wait a little bit longer to get their hands on that avatar technology. But yeah, I will update you on that. Does it only work if everyone has it set up? I think that came in during the Microsoft Mesh conversation as well. No, if one person wants to attend a meeting as an avatar, they can do that. Not everyone has to be. You can attend in the normal, old-fashioned video way, and just one person can attend as an avatar as well. It's not as if it's an all or nothing kind of approach. You can absolutely just do what you would rather do. Let's have a quick look. Someone has got a question on the search functionality that we've talked about today. So when you click through to the result itself, will it take you to the conversation? It currently just shows the message without the context of the conversation. Yeah, so that is another update that should be coming soon, is that instead of just giving you a singled out search result of one message, which doesn't give you the context of the conversation, it should take you to the point in the conversation where that comment happened. So it gives you much more context to know the answer is the one you were looking for, and you can kind of read around to understand the entire context of that conversation as well. I don't know why they never did that in the first place, to be honest, because when you do a search, generally you want the full context around it. But yeah, unfortunately, they've made us wait for that one, but it should be coming soon. Where I can see calendar locations on my Office 365 web app, but I cannot see the calendar in my Outlook 365 client. Will this also be coming available? Yeah, it should be, Angie. So when you've set up those features in Outlook on the web, it should then cross over to show the availability across your other apps as well, including the mobile app. So that should be rolling out this month as well. So you'll be able to see everyone's availability, where they are, their location, their working hours across all of those Office 365 apps. Okay. Had so many questions today. I'm trying to rush through them all. Good to see you all getting so involved. So CoPilot in Office won't be here this year then? I don't know. I can't say for absolutely sure. All I can tell you is that we definitely haven't been given a definitive launch date. There's an awful lot of coming soon chat from Microsoft. I'm pretty sure there will be some features that are gradually becoming available this year, if not within the next few months even. They do generally start phasing in rollouts, so some people might start getting some of these new features before others. But we will definitely, as soon as we hear any concrete dates, we will absolutely let you know, and hopefully we won't have to wait for everything until the end of the year. Okay, I think I've covered most of the questions that I can do on the webinar, and we're almost out of time. So thank you very much for joining us today, everyone. Any other questions, please do feel free to email those to us when we send you the recording later today, and we'll absolutely get back to you with some advice on what you need to do with your licensing, or if you wanted to take those next steps in the Bedrock workshop, then please do feel free to contact us about that as well. Really good to see so many of you today. Thanks for getting so involved with your questions, and I look forward to seeing you again next month. Okay, bye everyone.